Hey everybody, it's Ringingworm once again bringing you another video review. Today's video, I'm super excited because we're going to talk about something awesome. This is also my very first, that's right, my very first movie review. We're going to talk about the Justice League. That's right, the Justice League. I've seen the movie twice now and I'm really excited to talk about it. So we're going to get started. Before we do, let's remind everyone that I need your support. So please like and share this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more content and we'll get started right now. Alright guys, let's talk about Justice League. I love the movie. I've seen it twice and I liked it even better the second time. I know a lot of people say that, but you know, you don't catch everything the first time you see a movie. And I can't wait to go see it a few more times because I'm sure there's things even in the second go round we missed. So I am going to talk about a few spoilers in this video. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, please click off this video and go watch the movie and then come back and we'll talk about it. I'm not going to talk about a lot of spoilers, but there are things that I absolutely want to talk about in this video that I'm not going to hide away from. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want it to be ruined for you or whatever, then please, by all means, go check out one of my other videos. But we're definitely going to be talking about this today. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about the setting. The setting for the movie, I think, is very well done. It really sets you up for kind of the expanded universe in every way. It starts out a little bit kind of a nostalgia feel, kind of from a little kid perspective, and then it expands from there and it goes into the other characters. What I really like about this movie is the character's portrayal of each individual character. In fact, I wish I got more. And the reality is I know that has nothing to do with the makers of this film. It has more to do with the studios and the heads of the Warner Brothers and all that type stuff, because you kind of feel like in places like they were telling a bigger story, but they just kind of cut it short to go to the next scene, and you feel a little bit wanting. Now, having said that, that doesn't change the video. The one thing I do like about this, and I think it really should start out the way, is you start out with Batman. And I really do believe, guys, and this is controversial, I'm sure, but you really do get the sense that Ben Affleck's Batman is the better Batman out of all the ones that have played it. And, you know, people argue with me. In fact, I was talking to some people yesterday that were trying to make the argument that Christian Bale has been the best Batman. And here's the thing. I think all of them have merit, even Adam West and so forth. So let's just break that apart really quick. Christian Bale's Batman, in my opinion, wasn't a comic book character. He was a character that if he went through a huge turmoil and it was set in real time and somebody wanted to do that, that's what you got from it. They really changed a lot of the storyline aspects. They changed the origin stories of like Bane and Robin, and I didn't really like that from a comic book perspective, but I really did enjoy the movies. And don't get me wrong, I think Christian Bale did a fine job as Batman, but when I think of the world's greatest detective, I don't think of Christian Bale. I don't even honestly think about Michael Keaton, though I will say that Michael Keaton did play the world's greatest detective a little bit better, a lot better than Christian Bale. Now, from the perspective of the world's greatest detective, I think Ben Affleck has truly been the best Batman. I mean, you can argue it, you can put your own take on that, guys. This is a video review for fans, so if you disagree with me, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you on it a whole bunch. I grew up in the 80s, and I watched the Justice League cartoon, and I watched the Super Friends cartoon, and I watched the Adam West Batman from the 1960s, and I did all that type stuff. And when Michael Keaton's Batman came out, he was phenomenal. I loved him as it, and I didn't really think about him as a character, but it's Batman on the big screen. Fast forward to Christian Bale, I didn't even want to see the movie because they had ruined the franchise that bad. When I saw it, I really enjoyed it. But if I was to pick one character to come right out of my cartoon Justice League upbringing and from the comic book, Christian Bale is not Batman. Michael Keaton did a great job, not Batman. Adam West, way off the mark as what I would picture Batman to be. But Ben Affleck here is Batman. He is 100% Batman. He is built as Batman. He's older. He's more experienced. You can tell he's struggling with his demons from Batman v Superman, realizing that he had been manipulated by Lex Luthor. He overcomes that. He really becomes the character that you want him to be. And I think he does an absolutely fantastic job, both as Batman and Bruce Wayne. So you open your scene with Batman, and I think in every sense of the word, he portrays that character. His acrobatic skills, his ominous presence, him jumping off buildings, him flying around using his grappling hook, is everything I think that we wanted to see in a Batman. And the thing I like best about this is, yes, this Justice League is kind of rooted in modern times, and a lot of the emotions with people are focused on modern times, but you get a comic book version of that character out of Ben Affleck's, and I really like that from The Dark Knight. Now, other characters are pretty fantastic as well. I love the Amazons in the movie. They weren't in it a tremendous amount, but you really get that warrior culture again reiterated in this movie, and I think it did really, really well. I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. You know, for the longest time, we looked at Linda Carter as Wonder Woman. In every single essence, the way she carries herself, even in civilian clothes, she is Wonder Woman. She's absolutely fantastic. I love her character. She's also struggling with some demons. You get the sense in the movie that this is the first time since Batman v Superman that she's donned her costume. Now, she talks about it a little bit, and she does kind of say that, you know, I've always helped, but I'm not a leader. I don't want to be a leader. I'm afraid I'm going to get somebody else killed, like Steve Trevor was killed in her standalone movie. But at the same time, you can see her really owning who she is more and more throughout this film. Now, the other two characters which aren't represented in the screen in front of you, unfortunately, I don't have them. They are on back order, pre-order, I should say, is The Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg. Guys, their hot toys just aren't available, and I considered showing you my face and doing that, but nobody wants to see my face, so trust me. But, you know, the other characters, first of all, you know, I know there's a comparison with Flash from the TV series with Ezra Miller's character in the movie, and I gotta tell you, I like Ezra Miller better. I like his kind of young innocence, like he's not the crime scene investigator yet. It does talk about his origin a little bit, so you get a little bit of that. You know, people are saying, oh, now we got to see Ezra Miller talking to his dad. He's in jail. We've seen that before. But I really do feel like it sets up his particular character. His character in this movie, I think, needed his dad because it kind of illustrates what Barry is going through right now. This is a younger Flash than the one in the TV series. It's not the same kind of setup. Talk about Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I think Jason Momoa crushed it as Aquaman. I think you really get that sense of I don't care about the surface world and I don't care about Atlantis kind of vibe from him. He does care about both, but you know, you can see him struggling with those inner demons of his origin story. I really like that. I think that the standout character that I really wasn't expecting, because I know nothing about his character, was the gentleman who played Cyborg. I loved his portrayal of Cyborg. I could see that struggle with his character, which I think was necessary. I loved his costume. I loved it even more at the end. I thought it was pretty awesome. And it really kind of, if you're a comic book fan or a cartoon fan, you get a bigger picture. The version of Cyborg that he is right now isn't the one he's going to become eventually, because his character evolves. It evolves in the movie itself, and I think that was pretty spectacular. I love his character. He's struggling with being a cyborg. He's also struggling being a human being. So you get that kind of robotic feel with his emotions from time to time, but you can also see the human side in his character, and I really like that. Now, the one thing I wish we got more of, and I will tell you, I wasn't thrilled 100% the way they brought Superman back, but it didn't bother me enough to really take anything away from the story. But when Superman awakes, you know, he's struggling a little bit with identity, and it happens really, really fast. But when he becomes Superman in the movie, when he redons his costume, which by the way, it is a different costume than the one you're looking at right now. Not dramatically different, but obviously the colors are brighter, more vibrant, whatever. And he dons that costume and he goes in it. Now, some people, I've heard the comments saying, "Oh, where did he get the costume? He just has this magic." Guys, here's I talked about this in my Man of Steel Hot Toys review. I think his costume is generated by the bioship, or the costume is more of a living type armor, and it can alter itself based on what it needed to be. Now, his costume in the earlier adaptations was darker. His costume now is lighter, kind of expressing his new take on life, so to speak. I love his portrayal of Superman in this movie. Now, there are some spoilers in here. I don't think I'm going to share them with you, but there's a couple parts in this movie that kind of like that comfort food feeling that you get when you eat something that you just it screams of home. There are two musical situations, and I will talk about one of them because I'm not going to spoil it. It's in the previews. Is Batman, one of Batman's entrances in the movie, they use the Danny Elfman theme from the Michael Keaton Batman to introduce Batman again. And I know that sounds cheesy, but some of those things are from our childhood, represent everything that is Batman. And it does that a couple times throughout the film. It's not like overpowering. You have to listen to it. But they've taken the music from the 1989 Batman and altered it, modernized it, whatever. But it is definitely the 1989 theme. And I thought that was pretty spectacular. Now, in this world, I think that they could definitely have told more of the story. I mean, like I said, it was originally a 2-hour and 45-minute movie, and they cut it down to 2 hours. And you can tell that it was cut in places because there's things that they don't flesh out that you wish you got a lot more of. I love the opening credits with the Amazons. They tell a little bit more about the history and the stories and the gods. I really like that. They even give you a hint of the Green Lanterns. I won't give anything away other than the fact that they give you kind of a little teaser in there of the Green Lanterns and whatnot. And the movie was really good. So the first time I saw it, I didn't catch everything. The second time I went and saw it, I liked the movie a lot more. One of my favorite parts in the movie has to do with the Flash and Superman. They kind of tease each other a little bit about their speed, which I really like because that's something that I think they should do. That's something they do in the comic book, and it is very relevant to this story. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is, should you go see it? And if you're basing your opinion of movies, first of all, guys, I don't know why anyone gives Rotten Tomatoes or any of the other critics, for that matter, any stock. I was watching a video of a top 10, and they were showing videos that fans and that moviegoers absolutely loved that the critics gave horrible scores to. And guess what? This movie is going to be one of those things. So I was looking at Rotten Tomatoes, and the moviegoer score, the people who have actually seen the movie who aren't critics, have given it almost a 90. The critics themselves have given it a 38. And I apologize, I got a little bit of a stuffed up nose, but here's the thing that really bothers me about that. I think the critics are working for Marvel. And I don't mean that in the literal sense, but I think that they're either biased toward Marvel, maybe they're being paid by Marvel, I don't know. But I will say this, I think that they're being influenced to give DC movies bad ratings. Now, I think they gave Wonder Woman a really spectacular rating, and I don't think that they could do it any other way because Wonder Woman was spectacular. There's a reason why it's the #1 grossing superhero origin story in history. It was a fantastic movie. Could have been better in some spots, but it was a fantastic movie. And I don't think they had a choice in that particular one, and they didn't want to look like they were rating all the movies that way. I can understand their rating with Batman v Superman. I felt like the ending was really short with the Doomsday and Wonder Woman, but you guys got to think that end scene was almost 45 minutes to an hour long. It's not like it was short, it just felt like it was short because it was so action packed. Let's talk about Rotten Tomatoes. So I've listened to all the critics that I trust online have given Justice League a pretty fair rating, and I really like that. Rotten Tomatoes, I think that they're just trying to swing it toward more Disney movies, and I can back that up. Like the first Star Wars movie, the Force Awakens, I love that movie. I think it was fantastic, but it got really high marks, and I don't think it was justified. Marvel Comics, Captain America: Civil War got high marks. I didn't think it was justified. The one that pisses me off the most was Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man Homecoming was an abomination in every sense of the word, with one exception. I think Tom Holland kills it as Spider-Man. I think he absolutely is everything that Spider-Man should be. But they destroyed the movie. They called Mary Jane, this girl named Michelle or whatever, played by Zendaya. And I thought her character was great, but she wasn't Mary Jane Watson. Her name isn't even Mary Jane Watson, and they called her Mary Jane. They turned Flash Thompson, which in the comic book was a Caucasian gentleman, stoic with a crew cut, and they make him into be kind of a nerd, of so to speak, because all the kids in the school are gifted. The villain in it was okay, but Tony Stark's involvement with Spider-Man was ridiculous. And the fact that they are portraying Tony Stark as the designer of Spider-Man's costume was ridiculous. And that got a spectacular review. And a lot of people, I think, were just saying, oh, this is a great movie. That even the people I like to review movies was giving it a fantastic review. And I've got to tell you guys, that is just extremely disappointing, because if you're going to review a movie, then review it fairly based on the movie. Don't base it on you're a fanboy or whatever. Was there problems with Justice League? Absolutely. Were they problems because the director was a horrible director? A lot of times Zack Snyder gets a bad rap. No, I don't think it's that at all. I think that the studio interfered in the cartoon in the movie, and I think that's part of the reason why it got the bad review. But it was absolutely spectacular. I took all my daughters in there. There was little things in there from the cartoons and the comic books that made us kind of giggle a little bit when we saw them, that really, really took you home. The portrayal of each character in this movie was fantastic, but it was a 2-hour movie. It needed to be longer. I don't know how else to describe it. It needed to be a longer movie. So, guys, in this movie review, you know, a lot of movie reviewers do 1 out of 10. One of my favorite reviewers says, gives it his highest rating, an awesome-tacular. I'll tell you, the honest to God truth is, I don't necessarily want to give this a 1 through 10 rating. Is this one of my favorite comic book movies of all time? Yes. Is this as good as Wonder Woman? No. Is it better than Batman v Superman? Yes. Is it better than Man of Steel? Honestly, I liked Man of Steel. I would put it on par with that. I would probably give it a higher rating. If I was to rate each individual character, I'd give Batman a 10. I'd give Wonder Woman a 10. I'd give Jason Momoa's character maybe a 9. I'd give Ezra Miller a 9. I'd give the gentleman playing Cyborg a 9. I'd give Superman a 10 all day long. And I think that when you go to a movie, that's what you're going for. You're going for the characters that make you feel like you're a kid again. Let's be honest. That's why we watch comic book movies. We don't watch comic book movies because they're epically awesome that we have to go and give Oscars to because the story is so intense and so passionate. We go because we want to go back to that special place when we were children, sitting in front of the TV on Saturday morning or watching Cartoon Network and watching these cartoons that we saw as a child come to life on the big screen. And that's why we go see these movies. And if that's why you're going to see this movie is worth your time. It's worth your money. I'm going to see it. I want to say, my record right now, I think I saw 5 times Wonder Woman. I think I saw Superman 7 times in the theater. I could be wrong about that, but it was around that. I'm gonna go for at least 7 times in the theater. I've seen it 3 times. I'm gonna go once a week until it's out of the theater. At least that's what I'm gonna try to do. And I highly recommend this movie to anyone that's going at it. So for the context of this review, what would I rate it? Guys, I don't want to rate it. I don't want to put some artificial number based on my own bias on it. My review is going to be simply go see it. It is worth your time. It is worth your money. It is worth taking the entire family. I took all 7 members of my family to go see this. All 5 of my daughters and my wife. We went to go see it, and it was definitely worth my time. So, guys, that's it. That's my review of the Justice League. Hopefully, I didn't spoil anything too much for you. I didn't really get into any of the story. That's something that you guys can go see for yourself. I love the movie. I love the characters. I hope you guys go and spend your money on this movie, because as long as we go and spend our money on these movies, they'll continue to make more. And if we stop spending money on these movies, I don't care if it's Marvel or DC or whatever, they'll stop making them. As long as it's profitable, they'll keep making these. And the way Wonder Woman went and the other movies in this series, I have no doubt that these movies are going to keep being made. So, guys, thank you for tuning in today. I really appreciate you guys viewing this video. Please like and share this video with your friends. Guys, I really need help. I've kind of got stuck with my subscribership. If you want different content, I have about 37 subscribers. If you guys want different content, please share that with me. I will gladly entertain adding things to these videos, but I really want to make these better for you and better for me. So if you like what I'm doing, then please like this video. If you want different content, please share that in the comments. I'd really, really appreciate it. Please hit that little bell button, so anytime I post a video, which I do about every 5 days or so, 5 to 7 days, please, you guys, again, it would go a long way. I'm not getting anything out of these videos right now. I don't have enough viewers to make any money, but I'm really enjoying it. So if you like this content, please like and share. Again, subscribe to my channel, comments on anything that you'd like me to improve, and you guys have a wonderful day. I know I will, because I just saw this movie again, and I'm going to go again really, really soon. Have a wonderful day.